Hello all and welcome to Wow Crochet yet again for another tutorial. My name is Mary and I'm coming to you with part 3 of our Honey Cowl. Well, we have done so well. We could have done more in the last part, but I wanted to make sure I was thorough in showing you the way these waves were working. Now, if you're joining us new and would like to do this cowl, you haven't missed out on much. We have done parts 1 and 2. Parts 1 was the crocheting in the front loops and back loops, and part 2 is the crocheting back post, front post and back post. Bit tricky when it came to the corners here, because I wanted to make sure we all end up with the same kind of corners, okay? So I thought I would do the rest of the part in a separate section, because I know that it was tricky for me even, let alone tricky for someone new, okay? All right. This is the reason why I did practice stitches on the cowl. If you want to do the practice stitches, I've actually left the link to the practice stitches in the description box down below. Now for this tutorial, you will need your same hook you've been using, you will need your scissors, and you will need that darning weaving needle, okay? So we're going to start off with where we left off in the previous part. All right, what we normally do at the beginning of a row, we do a single crochet, 1, and then we chain 1 and 2. Now remember, on the second stitch, we always put a double crochet. Yes, beautiful. We remembered that. That's great. Now, we need to put 3 posts across here now, because there's going to be 1 there, 2, and then 3. So we started off with 1, which was here, then we went on to 2, and now we're going to do 3. So it's a front post in that first one, front post in the second one, don't slip like I do, and a front post in the next normal double crochet. Then we double crochet in your next stitch, which is 1, and again in the next 2, and in that next one there, which is a post, we're putting a normal double crochet. Why? Because we are moving that way, remember? So now our posts are going to move that way. So the first post you get, you put it in that second one. Your second one, you put in your third one. And your third one, you're giving a new one right next to it. All right? Then we do 3 double crochets. 1, 2, 3. Okay? Remember, we popped the third one in that post, the first post, right? So now we're going to do 1 post in the first stitch, which is actually the second one, 1 into the next, and then 1 into your plain double crochet. And then you're doing 3 double crochets across. 1, 2, 3. All right, let me show you where we are at. Alrighty, there. Now you can really definitely start to see, sorry guys, that going that way and that way and that way. You can definitely start to see it now. Yes? So what I want you to do, keep going until you get to, say, the last 3. See how you've got those spare there? When you get to these last 3, get there and I'll tell you what we're going to do next. All right, I got to the end of the row. Now I did my last 3 double crochets and I'm ready to start my front posts. So you do that 1 front post in there, which is 1, and 1 in the next, 2, and 1 in your spare that you're going to turn into a front post, which you just have. That's your third one that you've made a front post. Now we are doing 1 double crochet in there, 2, and we will never ever do a front post there, so we just do your normal 3 anyway. And then we just do a double crochet in that top of that chain that we've been doing all along. Let's check out what we have done. All right, so there you have it. Woohoo! Looking gorgeous. So now we are going to turn our work and we are going to continue with the back posts one. Now with this one here, I'm hoping, I'm just trying to think of measurements, that this may be the last one. I'm not sure, but let's get through, and then once we've finished this row, we will see if it's the final row or not. We'll measure it all up, okay? Oh, sorry about that big mess there. Just get myself ready. Okay, now this is a side that yours truly does not like doing, the back posts. All right, so we are going to single crochet. Remember in that very first stitch, we always single crochet in there. All right, and then we chain 1 and 2, and then we put, okay, now we have to remember where we are. There's your 3 front posts. Now it's going to be moved over by 1. Okay, so you're going to be putting a back post in that one there. So really you need to put 2 double crochets in your next 2. So 1 double crochet, I should say, 1 in the next and 1 in your next. And then you are doing your back post in that normal double crochet, 1, back post in your next one, back post in your next one, whoops, don't split the yarn, and then you double crochet in your next 1, 2 and 3. Now to check to see if we're doing it right, just turn it over. And yes, we are. Okay, so we started our back post 1 over, so it's still going this way. Okay, sound coolio? I think it sounds coolio. Is that a word I can use, coolio? I like making up my own words, don't I, guys? Okay, we are going to do 3 back posts. 1, 2, oops, I'm out of frame. Sorry, guys. And 3. I get out of frame this later on in the day because the sun is in my eyes. But it is helping me crochet. All right, so now we're going to put 3 double crochets along here. There's a little trivia there, sun in my eyes. 1, 2, and 3. And a back post in the next one, which is 1. And again in your next one, which is 2. And again in your next one, which is 3. Okay, and then you do your 3 double crochets. 1, 2, 3. Pretty coolio. All right, so what I would like for you to do is to do the same all the way across. When you get to these 3 posts right here, stop and I'll meet you up. All right, we're at the end of the row here. I've just done 3 double crochets across here. We're coming to this section here. Remember this section that we started off before? We can now even it all out. You're putting a back loop, a back post. I keep saying back loop. 1, back post, oh, get in there, 2, back post, 3, and now we're starting our double crochets there in the corner. So you've got 1 double crochet, 2 double crochets, and of course you need 1 in the top stitch there at the end of the row, like so. Whoops, don't complete it, sorry. Get to the end, half do the stitch because we are changing to white. Yes, we are. Well, white, pearl, whatever colour we called it before, that's the colour we're changing to. All right, so now we are pulling our loop through like we have been doing all along. So you pretty much know what you're doing in this section here. pop your single crochet in that first space, chain 1 and 2. Now we're going this way, remember, so we're still doing a double crochet in that next stitch, and again in the next stitch, which is 2, and again in the next stitch because we are going across. So you've done your 3 double crochets. Now we are doing a front post. I love front posts, so easy. 1, 2 and 3. The third one goes in your normal stitch because we're moving over now. See, we started there from that row and then we've gone all the way over here. Pretty cool, I think. Do your 3 double crochets across. 1, 2 and 3. Do your 3 front posts. 1, 2 and 3. Okay, so that's what you have. All right, pull that up. Let's have a look-see. Whee. All right. Oh, don't forget to cut your little copper or brown or whatever colour you used. So continue that other row all the way until you get to your last 3. Don't do them because we're going to be moving over again. We may be able to 1, 2, 3. Yes, you might get the last 3 in. But anyway, get to those last 3 there and I'll meet you up. All right, guys, as mentioned in a previous video, I forgot to press record for the next 3 rows. So I'm going to be doing them on this small swatch. I've made all your back posts and front posts line up so we are at the same wavelength. All right, so let's get started with the rest of this row. My apologies on that, guys. Oh, these things happen. So there's your last 3 back posts, which I'm sorry, your front posts. These are the last 3, and then you had these stitches left. So remember, we're going that way. So I've managed to make those 3 back posts there, or front posts. I keep calling them back posts. They're front posts. I'm not doing well today, am I? So we are putting a double crochet in your next stitch. 1 and 2 and 3. We may be able to make the last 3. It looks like we can. So let's go front post 1 in that second front post 2 in that third front post, and front post 3 in your double crochet. All right, and then you do a double crochet in your last, oh, I can get the hook in there, and then a double crochet, of course, in the top of that chain right there. Okay, there we go. So that's pretty much what you have. I'm not going to blur it out too much because I want you to pretend that there's still the rest of the work there. Okay, so that's where you're at. What we're going to do is turn around real quickly and get this next row going. I'm not going to waste too much time because you can't see anything on this little swatch, so we're just going to keep going. Turn your work around, put your single crochet at the top where we've been doing all along, chain 1 and 2, and remember now we have our 3 back posts right here. Now remember, we're going this way. Okay, so it looks to me like we may have to stop doing our back posts. Okay, so what we're going to do is put our normal double crochet in our second. We always put a double crochet in that second stitch. Okay, now there's your 3 back posts. We want that to be a double crochet because that is going to move your work this way. So you're going to put a back post in your first one, like that, and a back post in your second one. Okay, and we're not going to put one in that last one. That has to become your double crochet. Okay, so pop your double crochet in there, 1, double crochet in there 2, double crochet in there 3, right there. We did 3 double crochets, and now we're doing your 3 back posts. 1 is in the first double crochet, as we've been doing all along. 1 in your next back post, which is actually your first back post, and then a 3rd one in your second back post. I know, does that sound confusing? Sorry guys. Now you've got another back post there, but we want our work to move, so we're going to put a double crochet in that stitch there. 1, 2, and 3. So go ahead and finish your row. Okay, get to your last 3 back posts and I shall meet you up there. Alright guys, here is our last 3 back posts. I've done my last 3 double crochets. So we're going to put a back post in that next double crochet. And then a back post in your first back post. And then your 3rd back post in your second back post. Okay. And now we do 3 double crochets across. 1, 2, and 3. Now, we have our last stitch that has to be a double crochet anyway. Ordinarily, we would have put a back post and start a new one, but that is our second last stitch, so we must put a normal double crochet in there. And then we do our double crochet at the very top of our chain. Don't complete it, leave it there, and get ready to change your yarn. All right, so grab your copper. I'm just going to pull mine through the back. Just pretend like I've cut it. I don't want to cut it because I don't want to lose all this yarn to a mistake. All right, so turn your work around and you do your normal single crochet, chain 1 and 2, and then we're going to continue with our front posts and back posts. We're not ready to change the design yet, guys. We have another 3 rows. Sorry, guys. This row and 2 more rows in this color. Okay, so where we ended off, we had your 3 back posts there, which will now be front posts. And then 1, 2. I'm sorry, that will be a double crochet. So double crochet 1, 2, and 3. We still need to put a normal double crochet there. We are starting a front post on that next stitch. All right, so pop your double crochet in the first stitch as normal. Your second one right there, if you are at the same, it's hard to explain, you may be at a different level if you've added stitches or got less stitches than I have. So if you're at the same level as I am, just pop in your front post there. If not, continue your pattern the way yours is. Okay, it's a bit difficult to understand, but just remember you need to have a double crochet in the top of that first front post. So that'll be 1, 2, and 3. That's mine, okay? I'm not sure where you ended up, but I'm going to put my 3 double crochets in there. We should be at the same wavelength. Okay, 2, 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so I've got 1, 2, and 3. Now I'm doing a front post right in that second one, a front post in the third one, and a front post in the normal double crochet because we are moving our posts over. Now have a look, see, make sure your posts are in the same angle as mine or even as your own. Just make sure your posts are all matching up. All right, so what I want you to do now is put your 3 double crochets in your next and then continue all the way across until you get to your very last 3 front posts, and I'll meet you up. All right, here we are at the end of the row. I have your 2 front posts from before, and I've just finished the front post in the previous set. So what I need to do is my 3 double crochets. I'm not sure where you're at. I'm hoping you're at the same mark. If not, don't panic. Just continue on with your design and making sure your design is going that way. Okay. All right. So now we have the 1 front post left. We have our normal double crochet, which we have to put in. So we are going to put in that very last front post. Okay, so there we go, front post, just the one. And then we're going to do our normal double crochet in that second last stitch right there. And then we're going to put our normal double crochet in the top, nice tight chain there. All right, and that's where you should be at. Perfect. Now we're going to continue the pattern. Let's go. All right, so turn your work as normal. Put a single crochet in that front, we're too far away, sorry guys, in that front stitch, chain 1 and 2. All right, now we put our front post in that very last stitch. That now has to become a normal double crochet. Our see our little line, that's finishing now. It's going to end. It's going to disappear completely. So I'm not sure where your line is at, but mine's finishing. So I'm just going to put a double crochet, obviously, in that normal stitch. Okay. Now, we need 3 double crochets, and then we have to do a front post in the first one there. Okay. So I'm going to put a double crochet in that last post from the previous round. Okay. I'm hoping that's where you're at. Again, don't stress. Just follow your own design and make sure you are at the right place. Now I'm going to put a back post in that normal double crochet, back post, the one I detest doing the most. We could sing a song about that, can't we? One in the next, which is your second back post. One in the next, which is your third back post. Okay, now do your 3 double crochets, 1 on top of that post, and 2 more double crochets, 1 and 2. So I'll show you where you're at so you can see. And there you go. And there's your lines going that way. And that line is finally finished. So this line here will keep working its way all the way up to that way as well. All right, so get yourself to the end of this row, and when your last 3 back posts will be here. Remember, we are moving over that way, so your last 3 back posts will probably end up around there. Just get yourself there and I'll shimmer you up. All right, here we are at those last 3 back posts right there. Now I've got that 1 stitch before the back post. Let me bring that up a little so we're a little bit closer. Okay, the last stitch before the back post right there. So I'm going to put a back post in that last stitch. Then I'm going to do a back post in your back post. Next back post, that is. Back post in your next back post. So you've got your 1, 2 and 3, and now you're putting a double crochet in that last back post. 1, now this is where we have back posts. Now remember, we are going this way. All right, so we need to start another back post there, which we normally would anyway at the beginning of your stitch there. So you do your back post 1, you do your back post in that first back post you have there, 2. Now ordinarily you would do a third one, but this is the very last stitch and we don't do it in the last stitch. So we're just going to put a normal double crochet in that last stitch. Always the second last stitch and the last stitch have to be normal double crochets in that very nice tight chain, as I've been saying all along. Let's have a look see. All right, so there you go, and that's where we are at the moment. Let's take that down a bit so you can see it. All right, so yours should actually be very noticeable by now that everything is shifting. When you look at it on the right side, it's all shifting to your left. Okay, gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. Now we are going to do yet again another row of this front post and back post. So turn your work. As usual, you will single crochet in your first stitch, chain 1 and 2, and let's get going. All right, now remember where we were. Okay, our work should be going that way, and we've got 2. Let's still do our first double crochet in that first stitch. Okay, now we're up to our front posts, so we put in 1 front post, and 2 front posts. Okay, now we can actually, if you're not sure what you're doing, go to your next front post. You know that's got to move over by 1. So that will be a double crochet, 1, 2 and 3. So you do have a stitch there for a front post. So I would put your front post in that stitch. So now we need to do our 3 double crochets, 1, 2 and 3, which is 1 on top of that front post. And then we do our 3 front posts, 1, 2, and your last front post goes in your normal double crochet. And now your 3 double crochets, and so on. So that's what I would like for you to do. Go all the way across until you get to the end of the row and wait for me there. All right, I did my last 3 double crochets just before your front posts there, okay? Now, this is the tricky bit, because when you get to here, we haven't quite started our front post, back post. Now, I'm not going to be too fast. We've only got a couple of rows to go before we change pattern. I'm getting very excited, guys. So we're going to put our front posts and back posts in those last 2 as we would. 1, 2, and do your new front post in that normal double crochet right there. Okay, and then we do a double crochet in your first double crochet, 2, and normally we would do 3 double crochets, which is this one right here anyway, and then we would do a front post, but because it's the last stitch, we will just stick to our normal double crochet in the top stitch right there. Okay, so we would just turn our row like normal. Put your single crochet in that stitch right there. We're getting very close, guys. I'm getting a bit excited. Chaining 1 and 2. All right, so here we are. We're going to start our normal double crochet in the next stitch, as we would do in every row. And then we would start our back posts, okay? So your first one is that first double crochet. We're going to put the back post around that first double crochet. And then we're going to do one around the next back post, and one around the very next back post. Okay, is it easy? I think it's easy. All right, so you would put your 3 double crochets in your first 1, 2 and 3. And of course you're going to start your next back post in your very next stitch, like you would any other row. So when you get to the end of this row, guys, we will also be changing over to the normal cowl piece. Okay, so we're back to the very normal recording. Once again, sorry for messing that up, but at least we still have each row set and ready to go, and get ready to continue on with our cowl at the end of your row here. Okay. Alrighty, guys, I've done my last 3 back posts. Now we're going to put 3 double crochets in a row. 1, 2 and 3. Okay, now when we get here, we have your 3 posts, which you're going to do because because we still have doubles there. So we are going to do our back posts. There's 1 back post and 2 and 3. Okay, now we are going to do a double crochet there, a double crochet in your next one, and a double crochet obviously in your very top stitch right there, as we've been doing all along. And guess what, guys? Yay! We are finished with our front post and back posts. I know, right? Has it not been crazy? I know. It's not my favourite thing to make, to be honest with you. I don't really like front posts and back posts. However, having said that, grab your work. And the best part is your very next stitch, we are going back to our front loops and back loops. So what are we going to do? We're going to turn our work. Okay. So we are going to put a single crochet in that very first, same stitch that we've been doing all along. Then we are doing chain 1 and 2. And now we are going to start our front loop, back loop. Okay. Now we'll start with the first stitch. First stitch will be our front loop. So you go into the fronts with a double crochet, the front loop. Okay, into the back loop of your next stitch, which is there, with a double crochet. Into the front loop, which is there, with a double crochet. Into the back loop, which is there, with a double crochet. You may have noticed I just crocheted over a knot. Now I did a Russian join there, and for those of you who are wondering what a Russian join is, I will be doing a tutorial on a few joins over the next week or so, and one of them will be the Russian join. And what that does is it helps you, look, it's actually right there and you can't really tell, and later when we crochet over, that little tiny speck will disappear as well. It saves you from doing all those knots that we've been doing all along here. Okay, so yes, we didn't change our color either, because we're going to do right there. Let me blow that up a little bit more. Oh, sorry, going the wrong way. See that? That's exactly what we're going to do there. So now we're doing that last row in this color, and then at the end of this row, we will start the purl again. All right, so let's, you know what I'll do? I'll let you do the rest. You know what you're doing. Front loop, back loop, all the way until you get to the last stitch and meet me up. All right, guys, here we are at the end of the row, and I've just completed a back stitch, and I have 1, 2, 3 double crochets left. So I'm going to do a front loop, double crochet, a back loop, double crochet, a front loop, double crochet in that last double crochet, and then I'm just going to pop a double crochet in the top chain right. Whoops, I can get that in there, nice tight chain right there. There we go. Nice and tight. All right, so that's that. All right, so what you should have is, ta-da, a row of front loops and back loops. Okay, you won't be able to notice the design yet until we start the next row. All right, so with your next row, you will pop your normal single crochet. Oh, it's too far away. Sorry, guys. Your normal single crochet in that very start, or the same stitch you're in. Okay, your chain 1 and 2. Now, in your previous row, let's get a nice close up. You finished off with a front loop double crochet, so now you have to do your back loop one. Okay, if you finished off with a back loop, that doesn't matter either. Now you need to start with your front loop. The way you work it out, remember before, as I mentioned in part 2, I think, your front loop sits forward and your back loop goes back. So that's back, forward, back, forward. So this loop right here is sitting backwards. So I'm going to put a back loop in that backward stitch. Okay, I hope that helped. Okay, and then this one here, it's got this little bubble sitting forward. I'm going to pop a front loop in that one there. Okay, and then a back loop in the other one. And it's sitting forward, this one, so we're popping a front loop, and so on. Back loop. All right, so there you go. What I would like for you to do, it's getting easier, isn't it now, guys, because you know this stitch from before, don't you? Okay, just get to the end of this row, and what are we on? We might have to do a color change. Let's have a look. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, at the end of this row, we are doing a color change. We are changing back to our pearl. All right. So keep going and I shall meet you at the very end of this row. All right, here we are at the end of the row. I finished up on a front loop, and the only reason I'm showing you 3 stitches before instead of 2 is because this was our Russian join from before. So all you need to do is just do your normal back loop only in it. Well, it doesn't, affect you because you guys haven't done one, but you can't even tell there was a little knot there or a little join there at all. Okay, so that's going to be a great tip for you in the next couple of days. I'm going to be showing you that. Okay, but in the meantime, let's do a front loop again. And let's do a back loop in that last one. Now we are ready to do our last stitch in our very top tight chain there, but don't finish the whole stitch because we're going to change colors. So it's yarn through and then yarn through and pull through 2, hold it there, grab your pearl. Trying to find the thread, sorry guys. All right, there we go. And we just pull your pearl through like so. All right, now you remember how we change colors? We just hold on to all those threads at the back, except for your working yarn. Turn your work, and we start off with what we usually start off with, and that's your single crochet in that stitch right there. Okay, just give those a little bit of a tug, chaining 1 and 2. Now this is bubbling in front, so this is a front stitch, so we're going to do a front stitch in there, front double crochet, and this is pushed right at the back, so we are going to do a back post double crochet. Okay, this is pulling out towards us like that, so we are going to do a front post double crochet, and so on, and so on. Whoops. And so on. Okay, pull your loop up. Now, here's a fun bit, guys. The fun bit is I want you to head off on your own, do all of this row right here, turn and do another row in purl, and meet me back up at the very second row. Okay? Alrighty guys, here we are at the end of the row. Now yours truly has forgotten to cut the copper off earlier, so I better do that now, otherwise we can't use it. Alright, now just turn your work over to the other side just to show you quickly. If I can get it out any further, I can't. It's starting to look too big now. This is the actual right side of your work that you are looking at, okay? You still have another row or maybe even 2. I have to check the pattern in a minute of this particular stitch. And then we are going to change just very briefly, and I say briefly because it's only probably 2 or 3 rows worth of the small V-stitch. Okay, now that's another stitch altogether, and we'll worry about that stitch when we're finished here. However, this is optional, by the way. Measure your work in width, okay? Now, my work in width measures, let's have a nice close-up look. See, it measures 21 centimetres or 8.5 inches, or almost. I mean, well, we should say 8.25 inches. How's that? Now, the actual scarf, I'm calling it a scarf, it's a cowl. The actual cowl in the end should measure up to 30 centimetres or just under 12 inches. So you're looking at that much left to go. Now, I would probably do, I'm starting to think of whether to do another 2 rows of the copper, because that'll take us right up to about the 24, because we really only want to get up to about 27 or 28 before we finish our small V-stitch, because we're going to gain another 3 centimetres or a couple of inches with our border row. Our border row is going around the whole piece of work. Now this border row is not going to be 1, it's going to be 2, 3, 5, 10, depending on your length that you want. And your width is going to be altogether 30. Now, if you want, like I keep saying, it's optional, you can make your width and your length as long as you like. in the meantime, we are going to get started on our very next row. Okay, so what we are going to do, I ended up on, what do I end up on? Let's have a look, see. Oh yes, that's the front bit that's sticking out, so that's a front post, so we're going to do a front post in that one. Then a back post in your next one. Okay, and then you start your final stitch in that last tight stitch there. Okay, start it and hold it there. We're going to grab our copper again, like so, and pull it through. Now remember what we do. We hold all our ends at the back, turn our work. It's getting bigger now, isn't it, guys? So it's really awkward to fit into the screen. Okay, turn our work, and we will do a normal single crochet in that space right there. Chain 1 and 2. I might do a little bit loose there so I can get the hook in later. Okay, so looking carefully at that stitch, that is moved forward. This one here is moved forward, so it's a front post stitch. Okay, and this one is sitting right back, so it's a back post. A front post and back post. Front post, whoops, and back post, and front post, and back post. Let's have a quick look-see. All right, beautiful, 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 beautiful. Now what we're going to do, so I don't forget, we're going to cut this pearl right here. All right, move it out of the way. Now, I need you to, whoops, out of the screen, sorry guys. Continue in this manner all the way to get to there. Do a U-turn, U-turn, we're in a car now, and go back until you get to your last couple of stitches up the top there. So you're doing 2 rows of your copper, and I shall meet you up. All right, guys, here we are at the end of our second row of our copper. We are going to put, that's in the front way, so we're going to put a front loop in that one there. And we're going to put a back loop in that one because that's facing backwards. We are going to put a double crochet in that nice tight chain right there. All right, now we're going to turn our work. I probably should have got you to do 3 rows of this, but I've decided not to. Instead, I've decided to do a row of normal double crochets in there because I wanted to match the bottom part of our cowl. Oh, I'm sorry, bring it out. I want those two to be exactly the same. So what we're going to do is just do a row of double crochets in the normal 2 loops. So it's just your normal double crochet. So now we're putting it through both the loops, like so. Double crochet in there, double crochet in there, and double, making sure you're getting both the loops, not the front and back. But firstly, we are going to do our single crochet, chain 1 and 2. You're going to put your double crochet there. So there's your 2 loops, like your normal double crochet, and there you go. That's 1. Then you're going to do the same with the other. And your next. And your next. All right, so, whoops, I meant to pull that up, not out. Okay, so go ahead and do the whole row until you get to your very last stitch and meet me there. Alrighty guys, here we are at the end of the row. We're going to do a double crochet in that last double crochet right there. And of course, your last double crochet goes in that chain stitch right there. Pull up your loop. So thank you so much for watching. It's been a very long tutorial. This one has been very, very long. Your very next tutorial for the honey cowl, however, will be the final tutorial. Yay! So we're almost at the end. It will be the last so many rows of your border. It's a little bit fiddly, but nothing you can't handle, guys. So thank you so much for watching, and ciao for now.